Hi everyone, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. This is your match preview for Everton's home game against Newcastle United on Thursday. Positives from the Nottingham Forest game, of course, there's going to be some of them. A 1-0 win away from home, we're never going to speak negatively about that. Dwight McNeil's brilliant goal, he's really hit some form now. James Garner having what he called his best performance in an Everton shirt. So a lot of positives to take from it, of course, as well. I thought Idrissa Gana Gueye has improved. We obviously do miss, we do miss Onana, but Gana Gueye has come in and he's started to play a little bit better now. So some positives to take from the Nottingham Forest game. Let's just carry these into this one, head up and try and get 3 points against Newcastle. Newcastle's last fixture, 1-0 win over Manchester United. A pretty good game, mainly because Newcastle were just, in my opinion, on top for the entire thing. Peppered so many shots at Andre Onana's goal. They were so active up those wings, the defence was solid, and they really had that get out and go attitude against United that we didn't have at Goodison Park when we played them. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of positives from Newcastle's last game for them, and I think they'll be on their high horse when they come to Goodison on Thursday. Likely lineup for us, I can't see us making too many changes, if I'm perfectly honest. Unless Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fit, I think Beto will start. I thought he was a little bit better against Nottingham Forest, which means I've got a bit more faith of him going into this one, and holding the ball up, making more of an impact, and hopefully getting that first Premier League goal that he's been waiting for. So to be honest, I can't see our team changing too much, apart from maybe Ashley Young will come out. I would like to see Seamus Coleman come back in there because with Anthony Gordon there and his pace on the left wing, it will be tough for Ashley Young, and he has found it difficult in the past few games, in my opinion. Likely lineup for Newcastle, I think they'll stick with that 4-3-3 formation. The two Brazilians in midfield, Guimarães and Joe Linton, are fantastic players on the ball, and they can make a difference. They can grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Almiron as well at right wing had a fantastic game against United, I thought. So did Anthony Gordon. So both of those wingers are going to be crucial for Newcastle United. Lewis Miley as well in midfield, come in against I think it was PSG in the Champions League and played well against United. Only a young lad, 17 years old, I think. So I think it'll be more of the same for Newcastle because they're playing so well at the moment. Of course, though, there is one change. Nick Pope picking up that pretty bad looking injury against Manchester United, so I think Martin Dubravka will come in for him. A lot of them out for Newcastle actually at the moment. Botman, Dan Burn, Matt Targett, Matthew Longstaff, Joe Willock. There's a lot of them out at the moment. Harvey Barnes as well, who was playing well in his early days at Newcastle, and of course Callum Wilson, who's such an important player for them. I think I always fear Callum Wilson when we play against him, whether it was for Bournemouth or now for Newcastle. I think, we can talk about him being missing and and the difference that might make for us, but they do have Alexander Isak there to come in up front, who I think is a brilliant player also. So to be honest, it doesn't look too much like Newcastle's injuries are hurting them yet. Let's just hope it hurts them on Thursday. For us, I think we'll be looking at specific players to make differences. For me, I'm going to be always looking at Dwight McNeil. I think he can work that line so well against Kieran Trippier. We'll see how that battle comes out, because it's going to be an interesting one, I think, because Dwight McNeil not blessed with pace, but he can work his way around a fullback quite well. We've seen it this season, but Kieran Trippier is a fantastic fullback. So I do think he could be the player that helps us. But then again, there's always the usual suspects this season, the likes of Decore as well, playing a little bit further forward, just in between Lascelles and Shaw. I would like to see him make a bit of a difference on Thursday. He hasn't been too good in the games at Goodison so far. For the past sort of month or so, he's gone missing a little bit at home, and I'd like to see him make a difference there on Thursday. In terms of Newcastle players that we have to watch out for me it's Lewis Miley. I think he is a really special young player. I think he's brilliant on the ball. He's got the attitude to be a footballer. He's got that know-how really, and I think that is one of the most important attributes that any young footballer can have nowadays, is mainly the ability, but I think not a lot of football anymore is based on, well, especially when you're breaking into a team. I think you're being headstrong and knowing the game is almost as important as what you can do with your feet. We've seen it with Jude Bellingham, and I think Lewis Miley is showing that off a little bit now with, you know, his ability to come into these big games in the Champions League and at St James's Park and take the game by the scruff of the neck, doesn't shy away from the ball, and I think he's going to be one that we're going to have to watch out for on Thursday. The same thing happened with Kobe Mainoo as well against Manchester United. So yeah, these are players that we can't afford to let go past us, can't afford to underestimate them. There's a couple of big battles in this game, one of them being, as I mentioned before, Ashley Young and Anthony Gordon. That's why I'd like to see Seamus Coleman come in. I think, he's had a bit of a break from the first team. It would be a nice game for him to come back into a night match at Goodison. And, when he's fit, he's still a fantastic player. So I think that'll be one that people will worry about, is whether Ashley Young starts with Anthony Gordon there on the left wing, and his pace can hurt every right back in this league. So that's going to be one of them. I mentioned before as well, Kieran Trippier and Dwight McNeil. Would like to see Dwight get the better of Kieran Trippier. But then again, I'm biased, completely biased. But that's going to be an interesting matchup, definitely. The likes of Isak against Tarkowski and Brandweight. I'll be interested to see how they handle him. They've had to handle a different striker in Chris Wood in the last game. It'll be interesting to see how they change their play style to come up against Alexander Isak, because he is a fantastic player. He's really come into his own in the Premier League this season, and I think he will be another Newcastle player to watch out for. Before I go on to anything else as well, though, before I start talking about Anthony Gordon and Goodison, Jordan Pickford usually has a tough time in this game. Obviously, being a former Sunderland player, he's not most liked by Newcastle United fans, and he sometimes struggles in these games. But to be honest, I think he will have to keep a calm head, and it will just be a case of how it is on the night. Can we get an early goal? Can we soak up pressure? Can we, not go behind, and then see how Jordan, deals with it? Because it will be a case of however we are playing, I think will reflect on him. So an important one is that Jordan Pickford keeps a cool head, and we can, then we can work ahead of him towards, getting the 3 points on Thursday. Anthony Gordon, of course, former Everton player, now at Newcastle United, playing very well. There's been a lot of talk about him on social media. For me personally, I think, and I also saw a really good tweet about it, that it's a case of both teams got a really good deal. I think it was around 50-60 million pounds or something that we got for him. It was a really good deal. So for a player that hadn't played too much Premier League football, he wanted to go off and be part of that promising Newcastle system. Sometimes a move like that only comes once, to go and play in the Champions League. So, to be honest, I don't hold him too much to it, as long as he doesn't score on Thursday. But I'm really interested to hear your thoughts in the comments about that one, because that's going to be an interesting one, seeing him come back to Goodison. And of course, the Goodison atmosphere will be particularly fierce on Thursday. Still not, still a lot of that fallout from the 10-point deduction and the Manchester United game. It was obviously it was a very fierce atmosphere until that Garnacho goal went in. But I think a fresh start on Thursday, start the game 0-0, and I think the Goodison has to be up for it, because we have to start picking up wins there. I think we've only won one there all season. And that was the Bournemouth game. Brighton was a good performance, but I really would have liked to get more out of that Manchester United game. And we're going to have to start picking up wins at home, because we're winning a lot of away games, which is good. But if we're really going to push ourselves back up to where we could have been had we not been deducted points, we're going to have to start winning our home games. So that's going to be a really important thing on Thursday is just put a fork in the ground at Goodison, make it a fortress, and put out our claim that we're not just stopping. We are carrying on. We are keeping on going, and we will try and pick up points at Goodison. We need to make it a tough place to come for away sides this season, and I really hope we can do that against Newcastle. A really good team on Thursday, because that will be a big statement if we can get the win in this game. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Give me your score predictions. I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Everton win. I'm pretty optimistic going into it. But yeah, I hope I'm right, but I'd like to hear your ones in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the Toffee Blues. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.